Hello everyone. Thank you for Teaching and Education Research Association for inviting me to be one of the presenters on International Conference on Teaching, Education and Learning 2020. In this great opportunity, I would like to share my research with the title Continuing Professional Development, CPD, How In-Service EFL Teachers See Mentoring as a Relevant Technique. My name is Asri Purnamasari. I'm an assistant professor at English Education Department, Christian University of Indonesia, Jakarta, and Master of Education in TESOL, University of Exeter, United Kingdom. Bachelor of Education in English Language Education, Sanata Dharma University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Richard and Farrell, 2005, states that teachers need to develop their roles and responsibility to find professional rewards in language teaching and have longer-term career growth. Since after several years of teaching, it is common for teachers to feel that they need a fresh impetus to help them keep teaching and developing. Teachers need support whenever they face rapid changes in language teaching as the result of new educational paradigms, trends, and some challenges faced by schools and institutions related to curriculum, national tests, and students' needs changes. This study tries to find out EFL teachers' views on benefits and drawbacks of mentoring as a relevant technique to in-service EFL teachers CPD. It is hoped that this study will address the dearth of literature on mentoring and provide better understanding of how mentoring works for in-service EFL teachers CPD. Lunch 1990 states that the term CPD is used to define a process of teachers' continual intellectual, experiential, and attitudinal growth. Day 1991 summarizes the factors contributing to the quality of professional learning. This figure shows the importance of school culture and also individuals' learning attitudes and value references to create opportunities in pursuing quality of learning in order to achieve effectiveness of learning. CPD is held based on the institution's and the teacher's personal goals, or a mix of these goals to achieve personal growth and improve developmental performance. CPD can be achieved either individually or collaboratively, or both individually and collaboratively. Some differences exist between training and development as follows by Woodward 1991. So the teacher training is compulsory, competency-based, short-term, one-off, temporary, external agenda, skill or technique, and knowledge-based, compulsory for entry to the profession, top-down, product or certificate weighted, means you can get a job done with experts, while teacher development is voluntary, holistic, long-term, ongoing, continual, internal agenda, awareness-based, angled towards personal growth and the development of attitudes or insights, non-compulsory, bottom-up, process-weighted, means you can stay interested in your job, done with peers. Why these differences is important? Because there are some teachers' activities which are followed by in-service EFL teachers in Indonesia, which are varied from mandatory CPD to voluntary CPD, and most of the programs are short period training sessions. And Richard and Farrell states that teachers training focuses on present responsibilities of teachers and is held over a short time with immediate goals. Other CPD sessions held for teachers in Indonesia are called MGMP, Musyawarah Guru Mata Pelajaran, or Subject Matter Teachers Forum, where the teachers with the same teaching background meet and gather in a relatively short period. However, the intensity of the MGMP forum is only as a regular professional learning community and has sadly been proven as an ineffective in helping teachers improve their teaching skills and competencies. Teacher certification is the biggest teacher CPD program in Indonesia. Since 2007, teacher professional certification has been held to improve the quality of teachers as well as to double teachers' salary for their welfare. The certification program is mandated by law on teachers and lecturers, and the prior teacher certification program, which has goals to improve the quality of teaching service, tended to be piecemeal or ineffective. Thus, some changes has to be brought by the law. Now, I would like to talk about the method in this research. This study is based on a qualitative inquiry or interpretative paradigm or constructivist worldwide. This qualitative study is an exploratory activity and it is shaped by an interpretation process. Qualitative research is the approach for exploring and understanding the meaning individuals or groups ascribe to a scholar or human problem, defines exploratory practice as an indefinitely sustainable way of language teaching and learning to develop understanding of life in language. In particular, this study attempts to make sense of the collected data, question them, and generate new insight from them. Wellington 2000, to make them understandable. In this study, the participants are in-service EFL teachers who have professional experiences in teaching English, and they are from the research context and experience the research event. In the study, a semi-structured interview is used to collect the data. The data analysis process in this study is based on a mutual way in which data is marked and manipulated on paper as an inductive analysis. The data collected from open questions in interview were coded before they were reflected on, categorized, and generated into concept and theme. And now for the result and discussion. For participants' view on mentoring as relevant technique to in-service EFL teachers CPD in Indonesia, the benefit of mentoring. There are some ideas that I got from my interview. From the teacher's point of view, mentoring would benefit teachers by giving them chance to engage in CPD. In addition, they believe mentoring gives chance for experienced teachers to refresh and update their practices. While for new teachers, by having mentoring scheme, they feel more confident with the knowledge of approach, method, and techniques in teaching, as well as feel more accepted to the working society, especially when they are new in schools. And mentoring will become more effective than training session since mentoring comes from teachers' need while training session is held without any specific focus on teachers' needs. Thus, mentoring will give teachers support and is largely appreciated. Based on their views, mentoring offers mutual benefits for both mentor and mentee, especially if the teachers come from a different institution. However, relating to the best practice mentoring scheme between teachers from the same context will give more benefits. By having mentoring schemes, there will get the chance to develop teachers' pedagogy and cognitive competencies, and then blend it with new skills with mentor roles as facilitator, consultant, and coach. Mentoring is also a way for in-service for EFL teachers to keep using English where English is not used in daily life. So the focus of mentoring for experienced teachers is English competence and to develop English using habit in teachers' teaching practice and daily life as the development of English competence. And the next result that I got is participants' view on mentoring as relevant technique to establish EFL teachers CPD in Indonesia. The drawbacks of mentoring. Teachers see some drawbacks of mentoring coming from the needs of teachers who are professional to be mentors in the same subject in the same school. However, there are many schools which have only one teacher for each student for the schools, for each school, I mean. Mentoring also faces some difficulties since role models are needed and not all teachers can be role models with adequate mentoring experience and training. The mentor and mentee are busy with their teaching and design some materials, fulfill administration and do the curriculum. In mentoring, the participants may encounter judge mentoring. For the teacher's point of view, mentoring can create a superior-inferior dichotomy between mentor and mentee. As teacher found that mentoring can cause a toxic culture in school when the mentor in the school share the minimal practices to be bad practice, which can affect the novice teachers or other teachers in their future practices. Thus, this most important way to avoid teachers' drawbacks is by having qualified preparation and careful selection of mentors. And then the next participant views of mentoring as relevant technique to in-service level teachers CPD in Indonesia based on some issues addressed for mentoring as CPD based on the culture. So Indonesia is Asian culture, which are collective and see most important thing is being good. So sometimes I'm not really critical for some issues. And then Indonesia has different ethnic groups and backgrounds, which create various characteristics amongst the people. So mentoring, which is applied in Java, will not easily implement it in other areas because of different characteristics of the people. But mentoring evaluation and sustainability should always be implemented. And Indonesia, people in different areas have different mindsets and viewpoints related to education and having high education. In relation to choosing mentors, the problem might come from some old views which still exist. People's mindset about old understanding which thought that becoming mentor means giving what they have so that the mentor will lose their power. And then Indonesia culture about junior have to respect senior will become challenge to choose mentors too. Thus, mentors should be senior, older, higher level, but have to prevent the seniority and inferiority. However, this should not pose a significant barrier if the teachers focus on developing their competencies to fulfill their function as teachers. And then the participants' view on mentoring as relevant technique to in-service EFL teachers CPD in Indonesia, some issues addressed for mentoring as CPD related to the geography. Regarding geographical issue, mentoring needs to consider the large area of Indonesia, which consists of around 17,000 islands. If mentor and mentees are from the same place, they can be efficiently and effectively doing the mentoring. However, if the mentor stay in a big city, then the mentee is in a small city, they will find some difficulty in doing the mentoring, especially to meet and have discussion. Moreover, if the communication and transportation is very difficult to reach each other. And then teachers who teach in cities usually gain easier access to new development compared to teachers who dedicate themselves to small areas. In small area of Indonesia, teachers usually left behind and cannot follow the development of the country. Since Indonesia has different geographical contexts, mentoring should be a need-based practice. It means there should be a research or survey to find out the needs of a particular school so that the mentoring program can supply the mentors who are good in the particular subject. Then for Indonesia teachers, whenever the mentors come from outside their region, which are more reputable, they will listen to that people rather than people who come from the same region. And then participants' view on mentoring as relevant technique to in-service AFL teachers CPD in Indonesia based on some issues addressed for mentoring as CPD on economic issue. The issue related to economic aspects are the money needed to run mentoring scheme as teachers need money for their transportation, accommodation, as well as the place to run mentoring program. Mentoring needs support from the government too, so that the program will run well. And then the next is the teachers' income in Indonesia is considered low. Thus, activities which can help them improve their income are important. So the role of government and subsequently schools in promoting and funding mentoring as CPD to ensure its success and ultimately continue to develop the country. And then the result and discussion. Related to participants' view on mentoring as relevant technique to in-service AFL teachers CPD in Indonesia, some issue addressed for mentoring at CPD in educational policy. There are many educational policies which need to be addressed before implementing mentoring. In Indonesia, every territory has their own education policy because of regional autonomy. Thus, the academic calendar, educational program and curriculum from every region will be different, even in one district. Therefore, mentoring has to be very specific with the mentee's needs in certain contexts. And then the implementation of mentoring between different schools is possible and appropriate, but institutional differences need to be borne in mind. Some schools are open to do mentoring, but some schools might have their own rules to receive mentors from outside their schools. So it depends on the school's policy. In Indonesia, teachers have to follow all changes policy, especially curriculum and without power, so that they just follow the policy without any goals and only to fulfill their obligation and get certificates. Thus, the CPD is not acquired and there is no critical thinking on that. And then the next is participants' view on mentoring as relevant technique to in-service level teachers CPD in Indonesia related to some issue addressed for mentoring at CPD on technology. In Indonesia, many teachers, especially experienced teachers, use of technologies such as using video call if the mentoring scheme is long distance can be problematic due to both teacher knowledge and bandwidth issue. Many teachers cannot use email, video call or Skype. They can just open some website and many of them can even use computer or laptop for the basic functions, only such as Windows Office. However, based on the result, it is found that all participants still see mentoring as CPD would be easy to be implemented for teachers in Indonesia. Then they also think about the possibility of mentoring as CPD implementation for teachers in Indonesia. And then the conclusion and recommendation. In conclusion, this study has attempted to find out different in-service level teachers' view on mentoring as a relevant technique to their CPD in Indonesia. By having some results on the benefit and drawbacks of mentoring based on participants' view, it shows that the roles of schools and government are really important, as the results shows that MGMP and certification are not wholly effective in supporting teachers to engage with CPD. Teachers still face many difficulties to gain CPD opportunities based on their real needs. then the implementation of mentoring scheme should be conducted with appropriate activities which mentor and mentee choose to be implemented. And these are some of the references that I have. And okay, thank you. And I'm looking forward to have more discussion in the live session.